Hey. Hey. It's Holistic Health with Harry back for another video on the sun. By the way, my book is coming out next week. Nearly finished writing it up. Just got the latter stages of vitamin D to do. Now it's not going to be perfect, but I don't care. There's a lot of key information there, which is very exciting. And very exciting. So, hi GG man, how's it going? So yeah, yes, very excited about the book, and something that was on my mind today. It's obvious, right? This is all obvious stuff, and this one's for me. This video's for me, so that we can understand that the sun is highly medicinal. The sun is medicinal, and it's all suns. As soon as the sun comes up, to the midday sun, to the setting sun, and even within those times. So I've talked before about sunrise sunset being a very powerful sun, extremely powerful activation. Then we talk about the midday sun, the UVB, vitamin D production sun, also highly medicinal. But actually, the truth is that in between those times of midday and sunrise, so like say you've got a sunrise at 6 and then it's midday, high point is at 1, so in between that would be 3.5 hours. So say at 9 o'clock you go out, so you miss the sunrise but you go out at 9 o'clock, which is smack in the middle between sunrise time and between the highest point. It's not quite there, it's in between. Well, that's also medicinal, and that's medicinal for a reason, because the sunlight changes frequencies constantly. It's never static in its colours, so the visible light frequencies change from strong dominant red and infrared frequencies at the beginning at sunrise to high blue, high purple, and UVB in the midday. So when we're doing it smack in the middle in between a sunrise and a high midway point, there's very little red, but there's still red there in the sun. That's medicinal. And then there's also now kicking in, which you didn't have at sunrise. Now we got kicking in the UVBs. Not its highest, I admit. So it's not at its highest point, which is at midday sun. But the point is that in between those hours of sunrise and high point, in between that point, you've got two medicines going on at low dosages. And that's the only time the sun does that at low dosage, two medicines. You've got the red light frequency, the red therapy, a very mild form because it's not that dominant. And also, you've got the very mild form of UVB starting to kick in. So you've got two medicines at that point. Same if you go from midday high point to sunset. In between that, so say 1 o'clock's high point, and then you've got a setting sun at 8 o'clock. That's 7 hours, 3.5 hours in between. So about 4:30, you've got two medicines. You've got the red light therapy starting to kick in at low doses, as I admit, and then also you've got the UVB at low doses coming down from the midday. So you've got two medicines kicking in. That's my point. At any point in time, you have activation of many medicines with the sun. This is why people say that it's good to be out in the sun at any time, and the more in time the sun, the better. So even if you do miss sunrise, you know, in the red light therapy, just get out there, man. It's all good. Not to mention the fact that every time you go out in the sun, it forces you to deep breathe. It actually does force you to deep breathe. The sun, even under cloud cover, is a deep breathing session. Now, sun gazing makes you breathe even slower and deeper, but every time you're out in the sun, even under cloud cover, it's a deep breathing session. So there's that medicine going on. There's serotonin getting dumped into your system. There's dopamine, GABA, all kinds of hormones that make you addicted to the sun are out. And it doesn't have to be just, you know, not with clouds. Yes, under clouds, it still makes you feel good too. You know, you just have to work harder a little bit under cloud cover, but just, that's the point. All suns are medicinal. Yes, the three most nutritious points, if you've got less time, the time hacks for medicine for sun are, in my opinion, sunrise, midday, and sunset. Oh, and that actually doesn't include midday if you live in Europe and high latitudes like I do in the wintertime, because in the wintertime you can't make, there's no UVB. There's no UVB in the wintertime in the UK and high in Europe. And most places, unless you live in Florida or the tropics, subtropics, then you're okay. You always make vitamin D. So, actually, there's a theory that I've just been thinking about too. I want to say, So if you're in Europe, UK, North America, up past Atlanta, you can't make, like I just told you, you can't make UVB after at winter's time. So there's no UVB, there's no vitamin D. That's why I'm talking to you about UV. Midday sun is really important. The main mechanism why UV sun is important, the midday sun, is because of UVB, which makes vitamin D, which is super important. You should watch my previous videos on my channel. And vitamin D is fucking great focus. People know about that. If you don't, fucking start focusing on vitamin D and getting up. But here's the thing I reckon. I reckon in the winter time, when there's only 8 very short days, and when we in the UK and Europe and North America, we can't make vitamin D because there's no UVB in the winter time. Now the sun is out for less. I reckon, I don't know this, so I'm gonna have to test this for myself when it comes to this winter time in the UK. But I reckon the red light therapy from red sun lasts longer in the winter time than it does in the summer. I'll try and explain why I think this. In the summer, you've got a massive long sun that's out for a long time, so therefore the full frequencies can go through. No, the full frequencies can't go through. I mean, they do, but they don't do it as long, because they have to get through all the colours, and it's got UVB, UVA, it's all got to go through. Now in the winter, the sun is out for much less time, and it doesn't come at the angle they say to make UVB. But I just reckon in my heart, it resonates strongly with me, that instead of red light therapy being 4 hours, by the way, 2 hours before sunrise, and 2 hours after sunrise, 2 hours before sunset and 2 hours after, that's 4 hours. 8 hours a day, really, you've got red light therapy. You might not know, you might not think that, you know, before sunrise and after sunset, because it's dark out now. It's 1 hour after sunset, right? Out here, it's dark. Look at that. It's dark outside, completely dark. It's completely dark. It's 1.5 hours, 1 hour after sunset. But I know the medicine's still kicking in. That's why I left the window open. That's called near to mid to far infrareds still coming through. And it will come through the window, 50 to 60%, but I just let more in by opening the window. That's my point. The medicine from red light therapy still kicks in before sunrise for 2 hours and after. And I know this because I've tested it, and I feel the difference, the qualitative difference, and also the science says that these frequencies are high at those points, right? What was I going to say? I got lost track a little bit. Yeah, in the wintertime, I'm so sure it makes sense to me that because the sun hours are shorter, it condenses the period of red light therapy. It's not just 4 hours now at sunrise and 4 hours at sunset. I think it's like 5, 6, 7. I think it's much longer. I don't know this, and I don't hope I'm wrong, but I'm willing to be wrong. I will test it, and I'm excited for the winter time. It makes sense with me for another reason. Nature's designed it so that if we did move away from the tropics, where we are now, with less vitamin D, there was some kind of compensation by our creators or creator to give us more health, and with no vitamin D being able to be produced. So the way they did that, I think, would have been more red light therapy. In which case, it makes sense to me, because more red light therapy gives you so much energy, even if it's just to the face and the eyes without sun gazing under cloud cover. But then if you do add Buddhism, it might be a bit hard Buddhism, mind you, in the cold of the winter. But and maybe that's the compensation: longer red light therapy session in the winter. And you don't need nudism because you're getting it more, just longer, so you won't even need the nudism thing because you can't, it's too cold. So yes, just know that the longer you spend in sun, whatever time, it has a lot of medicine in it. Yes, there are key points, sunrise, sunset, and midday sun being the best, and the hacks, but that doesn't mean that you can't make the most of other times, that whenever you're out, whenever you can do it. Again, at 9, 10 p.m., 9, 10 a.m., it's not highest in the sky, it's not just sunrise, it's about in the middle. At that point, there's low UVB to make a little bit of vitamin D, but you've also got a little bit of red light therapy. Same at 3, 4 o'clock, there's still some low UVB kicking around, vitamin D, and you've also got some red light therapy starting. So at all times, then you stand there, the longer, it's cumulative, the longer we spend in the sun, the more healthier we get. It's a fact. Yes, not all of us live in the tropics, but that applies here. The longer you spend here in the sun, right now, in whenever you are, whatever latitude, it will prove powerful for your health. I'm so focused on sun right now, not just for the book's sake, but for the life. For life. For life. Sun is life, and the more you access it, the healthier you're going to be as a human being. So this is very exciting. And I'm transforming my habits now to going to bed early. I'm going to be bed in 10-15 minutes, because I'll get up early for sunrise, and I don't want to be tired for sunrise, right? I don't want to be. So, okay, on that note, I was watching. Thank you very much, and peace.